Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we're going over the fact that it's an absolutely amazing time to be a VR gamer. There's only 5.5 months left in 2024, and we have at least 10 extremely anticipated games yet to come. So today, we'll break down all of the information currently available on these titles, and it doesn't even matter what your preferred genre is, or if you're on a Meta Quest, PlayStation VR 2, or PCVR, because there's definitely something for everyone to be excited about. Now, there are, of course, links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but let's not waste any time and get right into this list, ordered by my overall hype level. First up is the action-adventure title Arken Age. This is from the same studio that brought us the fantasy RPG title Shadow Legend, and now they're back to drop us into a fantasy sci-fi world. Arken Age will deliver a 10-hour campaign, full physics-based combat with a unique blend of melee and ranged weapons, plus an endless replayability mode that plans to keep bringing you back for more. Now, originally, I had a slightly off vibe about this title, and I don't know why. Something about the graphics just looked a little muddled to me, but again, you cannot judge a VR game by a flat-screen trailer. I'm sure they'll look fantastic when we get in game. Additionally, I just wasn't sold on the combat yet. However, the more I look at this title, the more excited I get. The sci-fi world looks unique, and so do those sci-fi weapons. So let's hope we get some more information soon, because I'm looking forward to jumping into this one. Now, another game that I desperately want more information on is Hitman 3 VR Reloaded. The contract-killing, stealth-based experience that Hitman offers up sounds like a dream come true in VR, but unfortunately the PlayStation VR version failed to deliver because it was a pretty rough port, lacking many of the features we expect from a VR game. This time it's being completely rebuilt for the Meta Quest headset and also getting a brand new shell-shaded art style. Now let's face it, they're most likely changing the artwork to get the game to run better on the Meta Quest headset. It just doesn't have as much power as a PlayStation VR or PCVR. But listen, cell-shaded works really well in VR, so I'm not going to knock it until I try it. The 2-second clip they show you right now is not looking fantastic, but let's just hold off on opinions until we try this in virtual reality. Another experience that we should all be getting excited for is the absolutely beautiful looking puzzle title Wanderer Fragments of Fate. The original Wanderer VR was already a fantastic game, but the studio said, you know what, we're not done with this one. Not only are we planning to port this game to the PlayStation VR 2 and the Meta Quest headsets, but we're also bringing in some massive updates. On top of just the general improvements, there's 3 all-new levels to explore, additional weapons and enemies, and a whole new combat system. So if graphics, immersion, storytelling, and puzzles are at the top of your list for a game, Wanderer Fragments of Fate will not disappoint. Now, I've previously enjoyed the original Wanderer, and I will say I'm not much of a puzzle fan. I found it quite challenging, got stuck a lot, but still pushed through it because the game is really impressive. But if you're like me and you're looking for something a little bit more straightforward, more action, we also have Metal Hellsinger coming to VR. This action-packed, brutal, and highly loved rhythm-based first-person shooter, which originally released on flat screen, is soon to make its debut for VR. You'll get the journey through hell, blasting through demons, Doomslayer style, all while doing it to the beat of heavy metal music. After the roughly 5-hour story-driven campaign, there's plenty of additional modes that keep you coming back for more. This is pretty much a dream come true for me. I love a brutal, story-driven campaign where you're just blowing away multiple different creatures. We also know just how good a rhythm game could be in VR, so I'm pumped for this one. Now, before we move on to the next title on the topic of being pumped, I want to hear down in the comments what game are you pumped for. As we go through this video, leave your comments. Hey, Hellsinger looks awesome. I'm not pumped about XYZ game. Oh, this is my most anticipated game. Let me know. I want to hear it. I love hearing your feedback. But let's move on to the next game. We have another story-driven single-player shooter, but this time we're dropping the heavy metal and rhythm and replacing it with an extra creepy horror theme. Metro Awakening plans to drop us into that brutal dystopian world that we know and love from the flat screen franchise. The original developer is on board, but now he's working with the VR veteran studio Vertigo Games. They're known for giving us amazing titles like Arizona Sunshine and After the Fall, but now they're turning the creep factor and storytelling up to 10. So prepare to journey through the nuclear ruins of Moscow and arm yourself with some unique weapons to fend off against bandits and, even worse, some mutant-style creatures. Vertigo Games pretty much always delivers, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. But I'm ready to drop that tense gameplay for some more straightforward action in Zombie Army VR. Similar to the VR treatment that Sniper Elite got, this time Rebellion is back with Zombie Army VR. This is a brand new campaign where you need to return to post-World War II Europe and mop up the remaining zombie hordes after the defeat of Zombie Hitler. Basically, we're looking at some hardcore zombie killing action that still features that absolutely amazing X-ray kill cam from the Sniper Elite series. Now, making things even better is the campaign is also playable in 2-person co-op. So not only do we get to kill Nazis, but also zombies at the same time and bring a friend along. I mean, that's an ultimate combination. But if you like to keep it to single player and you're more of a fantasy guy, well, Blade and Sorcery, the end update is here this week. Unbelievably, for 5 years now, the absolutely amazing physics-based fighting sandbox title Blade and Sorcery has been in early access and continually getting better and better. Now, after all of this time, it's finally getting its full release, which includes plenty of new content and a new progression mode. Now, I'm actually playing through this new version right now, but a lot of it is still embargoed, so I can't talk about it. But if you want me to do a video about this, or at least talk about it on my next Smash or Pass, let me know down in the comments. I will give you all the details, but for right now, I'll say nothing. I'll just do this. All right, let's move on to the next game that I'm super excited for, and that's Into the Radius 2. This horror-themed survival title basically has a cult following at the moment. It drops us into an extra creepy, dystopian, anomaly-filled world where you have no idea what's actually going on. The background lore is drip-fed to us through some extremely intriguing environmental storytelling, and the game just has some all-around fantastic mechanics that are not only extremely unforgiving, but also offer up plenty of risk versus reward. Well, later this year, the developers are coming in hot with early access to their sequel, which not only promises plenty of updates and additional features, but also a 4-player co-op experience. So if you were way too much of a chicken to play the original game, now you have no excuses. But if horror is just not your style, why not jump in for some John Wick style action with Gunman Constracts standalone? You may be familiar with this game because it was originally an absolutely fantastic Half-Life Alyx mod. It absolutely delivered that high-impact Hitman style combat, but there was only so much the game could do as a mod and would forever have a limited audience. Well, soon the game is getting a brand new standalone campaign that'll be playable on both flat screen and in VR. Generally, a game that's planning to release both a flat and VR version at the same time is a red flag for me. However, in this specific case, I think it's actually a net positive. They have the original roots of making a VR game, or rather a VR mod. So they know all about VR, they already delivered a great experience, but if they're delivering to a larger audience, not just PCVR, they can have a larger budget. They can make more money, push more into the game. So I think we have something really good on our hands here. The fact that they're not pursuing quests, they're going flat, and PCVR, combined with their Half-Life Alyx roots, yeah, we could have something really solid on our hands, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Now, our next title, though, I'm cautiously optimistic. Originally, I was absolutely pumped for the horror-themed action that Alien Rogue Incursion plans to deliver, but after Servios' past history with The Walking Dead Onslaught and their most recent interview with IGN, I'm getting a little bit more skeptical because it sounds like this title might be a roguelike, and we are sick of those in VR. But if that's not the case and everything else goes well with this game, what they're describing sounds absolutely amazing. This will not be an Alien Isolation cat and mouse style experience. This will be a horror-themed action game where you get to bring the fight to the aliens. However, you are fighting against some highly intelligent natural predators. Tons of work was put into their AI to dynamically react to how you play the game. Running around guns blazing is like ringing the dinner bell or throwing down the gauntlet. The aliens will swarm to the challenge and come at you from every single angle. Now, if you approach things more cautiously, you might be able to get the drop on a few foes and keep it closer to a one-on-one challenge. In theory, this sounds absolutely amazing. However, between Servios' past, not seeing much gameplay, and lots of unanswered questions, I'm skeptically optimistic, and we'll leave it at there. So let's move on to another game that I'm a lot more excited for because we have tons of answers, and that's Skydance's Behemoth. The studio that's already delivered the absolutely fantastic Walking Dead Saints and Sinners series is now back with a brand new experience. This is a dark fantasy-themed action title where you're tasked with defeating multiple behemoth creatures in order to lift a curse. Now, lucky for you, you'll not only have an excellent arsenal of weapons at your disposal, but also a grappling hook and some supernatural abilities. The lengthy campaign has us traveling through a forsaken land, mowing down plenty of cultist-like enemies that are also afflicted with the same curse as you, and of course having to battle those massive behemoth creatures. Now, one of the most important aspects of this game, at least in my opinion, the combat, is looking fantastic. It shares some of that Saints and Sinners DNA where everything feels meaty, you feel real solid impact, but now there's new features and also supernatural abilities. So if you were, getting bored of the fact that your character in Saints and Sinners was always getting tired, that's not the case here. You're here to kick some ass. Throw these cultists around, rip a tree out of the ground and knock it onto one of the guys, yeet somebody into space, chop their head off, you name it. And then you go for the big boys, those huge battles. So yes, I'm super pumped for this game. I previously showed off 10 plus minutes of new gameplay, and this is going to be a solid one, almost at the top of my list. But know what I'm looking for even more? The official Dungeons & Dragons title that is coming from Resolution Games. Now, there's pretty much no information on this game yet, and it's unlikely to be a 2024 title, but that hasn't stopped me from being extremely hyped. Resolution Games is already known for making the absolutely fantastic tabletop experience Demeo, and things are just going to get so much better with an officially licensed D&D game. So many people were calling Demeo Dungeons & Dragons in VR, and if you're a huge D&D fan like myself, that was a bit of an insult. It's an absolutely fantastic tabletop experience, but it lacks the amazing lore, storytelling, and massive progression found in a D&D experience. If they deliver something like a DM toolkit combined with the tabletop rule set, I may never leave my VR headset again, and this would also work extremely well in a mixed reality setting. So this is my call to Resolution Games. Please give me a sneak peek of this title. I'm probably the biggest combo fan of both D&D and VR. There's no one else out there like me, I'm sure there is, but there's no one else out there like me, I swear. Please, I will sew my lips shut, never talk about this until it's out. I will do anything to be involved in this project. I'm super pumped for it. And if I break an embargo or something, I will get Resolution Games tattooed on my forehead. How's that deal? Come on. Doesn't it sound good? It's a win-win for everybody. So if you guys are listening, please sound off. And or everyone else comment and then send this to Resolution Games, because don't I need in on that action? All right. Enough digressing. Let's move on to probably my most hyped game, and that is Batman Arkham Shadow. Ever since the original Batman experience dropped for VR, I've been dying for a new game. As cool as that title was, it was really just an experience, but you can't deny the fact that it just felt awesome to be Batman. Now, this is another one of those games that's still only a few months away, with no gameplay footage and plenty of unanswered questions, but unlike Alien Rogue Incursion, I have plenty of faith here. Camouflage already proved that they can deliver an excellent single-player campaign with their previous title, Iron Man. The studio is now also owned by Meta, which is making this game a Quest 3 exclusive, so you can expect, just like Asgard's Wrath 2, they're gonna throw a ton of money at this title. Now, I know money is not everything, but when you take a studio that's already proven themselves, give them extra cash, and then you have Meta wanting to make this like a showcase Quest 3 exclusive title, you're on the right track. Plus, you have the Batman IP. How could you go wrong with the Batman IP? We're not going down the Suicide Squad route. This is a Batman game. It's not some live service nonsense. It's back to basics, single player campaign. You're in Arkham. You're going to be beating up some thugs. It's going to be fantastic. At least I hope so. Okay, a few more notes before we end this video, guys. Like I said, I always love hearing your feedback, so let me know what game you're most excited for. And the last thing I want to mention before we end this video is this is a huge change of pace for VR. This is an insane lineup that covers multiple different genres on pretty much all VR platforms. It's none of your typical casual crap, and I can't imagine that the VR community won't love at least one of these games, let alone a handful. I'm insanely pumped for the remainder of 2024, and please guys, always remember to tell me what games you want covered so I can make them my priority. But for right now though, let's just end with this.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for my daddy.
Good job.
Bye!